Welcome back to Phillips Hot Rod Garage. So yeah, a guy on Facebook asked a question on Model A Mafia about replacing these panels on a coupe. They don't make those panels for a coupe. The only way you can buy those is for a sedan, and then you have to modify them to fit the coupe. So I thought I'd just come down here, stick the roof on, and just show you guys what it looks like with a roof on it. Because I've had a few guys to ask what my plans are for the roof. I've had some guys to ask if it was a sport coupe, but it's not. It's a special coupe. It does have a roof. I'm gonna put a roof on it, and I think it looks pretty good with a roof. All right, guys, in the last video, we started making some repairs on the rain gutters. We got them coming along good. They look real good. I'm real happy with the progress that I'm making on those. And then we started fitting this inner panel. Now this panel's got to have some modifications made to it. That's the plan for this video. So we might as well just go on and get started. All right, so I talked in the last video about modifying this panel and about how I don't like how much room it takes up in here. I want to preserve some of this trunk space, so I want to figure out where to cut this off. So I'm going to have to do that from under the bottom. All right, so here's a look at the driver's side from the bottom. You can see the rain gutter here. The rain comes through the gutter here and runs out this opening in the bottom of the car. So this is supposed to be open from the factory. Now this piece of floor pan here came with a subrail kit. It extends back a little further than what it originally would have. But you can see this panel here extends way beyond that floor pan here. So what I want to do is come right here below the rain gutter, and I want to put a mark here, and that's where I want to cut it. I want to cut it right there, and then I want to bend this panel down or fabricate a new panel that drops straight down and intersects with this floor pan, which will narrow this space right here, so I won't have as much of an opening. I'll actually narrow that up some. I may even move this floor pan a little bit further back, and then that'll take all this curve out of this panel and move it back some to preserve me some more space inside the trunk. Now these holes here don't line up. These holes here don't line up, so I got to work on all those holes. I got to cut this piece off right here, and I got to get this floor pan to fit right. So that's what we're working on. That ought to be a good spot. Oh yeah, and I just got done putting this bead roller together. Check that out real quick while I put together a plan on this. Well, all right guys, I've been putting it off long enough. I guess I need to go ahead and put this bead roller together so I can get ready to use it. I'm fixing to need it pretty soon. I gotta have a razor knife. Well, it's my first time ever using a bead roller ever in my life. And I just put a little step in that panel, or that little piece of scrap metal. So I think it's gonna work all right. I think it is. So I'm gonna put these on there. See if I can figure out how to make them work. Try to tip that edge. Yep. All right, I did it. So I put a step in it, tipped over the edge. I think it's going to work pretty good for what I need it to do. All right, well that worked out pretty good. I know there's some adjustments I might have to make to it. I might have to fine tune it as I go, as I'm using it. So that's how I'm gonna handle that situation. It's getting down to the point where I'm gonna need it. So I decided to go ahead and take the time to put it together. Now on this panel here, there's another guy, Heath at Full Moon Hot Rods here on YouTube. If you don't watch his channel, check him out. He's building a 30 or 31 Model A coupe on a 32 frame. And he had to modify this panel also. And I really like the way he did it. He cut his off and then he reused the bottom piece here and shortened it up and made it where he could bolt these two pieces back together. The reason for that is because on that rear body panel, sometimes people will mount taillights there. I don't know where I'm gonna put mine yet, but if I decided to mount my taillights on that rear body panel, it would be nice to be able to unbolt this inside piece to gain access to the back side of that panel. You can gain access from the bottom of the car, but it's gonna be real tight. So it would help if I could be able to unbolt this piece. Now also, if I welded it back together and I ever needed to remove this panel, it's a lot of work to remove this top portion right here because the way it intersects the rain gutters, it doesn't come out very easily once the car's all put together. So I think having this a two-piece panel is gonna be a great idea. So I'm gonna use Heath's idea on that. And I know he watches my videos sometimes. So Heath, if you're watching, I appreciate you posting up that video and giving me that idea. So let's go ahead and get this thing cut. All right, I think that's gonna work pretty good. So I gotta take it back to the car now and stick it on there and see what's gotta be done as far as how much I've gotta bend this down to get it to fit in there right. Let's go back to the car. All right, so I already know I gotta bend this edge over. I gotta bend it right along this line. This has gotta bend straight down. So it's got to bend in a pretty good bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually try to use the bead roller for that. Well, unfortunately, there's no way to fit it in there. So back to the old-fashioned way. All right, so it measures about 4 1/4 inches now. Yep. So I'm just gonna close it up, just squeeze it together the old-fashioned way until it ends up about 3 3/4. I think I'll just try to take about a 1/2 inch out of it. See how that works. All right, let's measure it. It's 4. It's 4 1/4 right there. 4 1/8. 4 there. 3 3/4 on the end. I'm gonna go some more in the middle. It's moving pretty good. Looks like it's gonna work. 3 3/4. It's just gonna be trial and error here. Actually looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right, that looks good. Let's see how it looks on the car. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let's take a look from under the bottom and see how that's gonna look. All right, guys, so here's a good view from under the bottom. As you can see, I bent that in as far as it'll go. It's against the rain gutter here now. So the next thing I've got to do is try to fit that piece that I cut off of here so that it fits straight down right through here. So that's what we're going to work on next. All right, I think I want it to go somewhere right in there. Now you can get a good view of how much trunk space I'm saving. This panel did extend all the way to the end of this. That's going to work out good. So the thing I see that I need to do now is I need to tip this edge on this bottom right here. I got to bend that up to match the angle of the floor pan right here, or the subrail right here. So let's get that bent. All right, so I don't have a metal brake here, so I'm just going to try to use this tipping die on this bead roller. Hopefully it'll work for me. Should be fairly simple just to tip this edge. All right, let's see how that looks. All right, it needs just a tad bit of tweaking on it, but it's pretty close. Let's go do some hammering. All right, well, I think that's gonna work. Let me try to slide this floor pan under here. See how that's gonna look. All right. Now we're starting to see a plan come together. Oh, that looks pretty good right there. Now I got to get this piece and the top piece to fit together. But before I can do that, I got to get these holes adjusted a little bit in this piece so I can get it bolted on. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to do this one-handed so y'all can see it. And my neighbor's cutting grass. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. He decided to cut grass right in the middle of me recording a YouTube video. How do you like that? All right, they're all started. Now it's time to tighten them up. All right, that looks pretty good. Well, that's looking pretty good, but I don't know if I really like those things. I don't know. All right, so now it's time to get this piece to fit. I got to figure out how long it's got to be, where to cut it off, and I also got to put a bend in it, so I got to figure out where it's got to be bent at. So I'm going to stick it back in here, put some marks on it. All right, you can see here it's too long, and it's got to have a bend put in it to be the same angle as this. So let's get under the bottom, see how it looks. All right, so here's the way it looks now. You see that panel is straight coming down now. The floor pan here is a lot further back than it was before. So now what I've got to do is put a mark right along here. That's going to determine where my bend's got to be. All right, I'm just going to mark one side and then measure the other side, make both sides the same. All right, so it looks like the driver's side's 5 inches. I'm gonna do the same thing on the passenger side. Five inches. All right, the bend has started. So now, let me check it. It's definitely got to go some more. Definitely got to go more. That's looking pretty good. Pretty good. I'm gonna take it over there and see how it looks. All right. That looks pretty good. All I got to do now is put on the final touches. All right, let's see how it looks now. All right, finally. Whew. That was aggravating. I had to get it slid in between the rain gutter and this piece. Okay, now try to slide the floor pan under there. Okay. Well, fellas, I think we about got it whooped. That looks pretty good. All right, so let's take a closer look. I don't see anything wrong with that. And there's a look at the passenger side. It's pretty good. And what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna drill holes through both panels. I'm gonna put riv nuts in the back panel and some bolts from the inside right here. Some that kind of don't stick up very much. And then I'm gonna bolt this down to the floor. And then this piece will be easily removed in case I need to take it out to do some work on the car. I think it looks pretty good. There's an inside view. So I like how I was able to save all this space in here. This piece originally came to all the way to right here. So that much more trunk room. That was just wasted. I'm pretty happy with that. Yep, gained some wasted space. Well, all right, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me another week. I really appreciate you watching the video all the way to the end. Guys, I was so sick over the past couple weeks that I did not think I was going to be able to get a video out today. I told my buddy Larry down at Boxcar's Garage, told him, what was it, yesterday, that I wasn't going to have a video, and I honestly thought I would not. But I got up feeling pretty good this morning. It's Saturday. Currently, it's about 3:45 in the afternoon. I got a long way to go to get this video ready to go out in the morning. But I wanted to try to get you guys a video this week, and I was really wanting to work on the car. But guys, I have been sick. I'm telling you, it has been rough. And the older I get, the longer it takes to bounce back from that stuff. I guess you all know what I'm talking about. But I want to show you a couple of other things before I let you go. One, over there to my left, I got a bolt bend this week. Been looking for one of them for a while. I was passing by the local antique shop in town, and it was just sitting right out in the front. It's an old one. It's got some rust in it. It's perfect for Phillips Hot Rod Garage. And also I wanted to explain to you on this top what I was talking about earlier about it being a special coupe. I've had some people to ask what makes a special coupe be so special. And the deal with a special coupe is this. A standard coupe, the vinyl top comes all the way back to right here and it stops. And this portion of the roof on a standard coupe is painted all the way around here. But this is vinyl to right here. On a special coupe, which was only manufactured from July of 28 till July of 29, it was a one-year run from July to July. Now history says it was Henry Ford's favorite car, so that's a neat bit of history. But on a special coupe, the vinyl top come all the way down to the belt line right here. It stopped right here, it had a piece of trim here. This part around the quarter window was painted. This part was vinyl all the way down, and it had a piece of trim that covered over this body line right here. Now commonly what you'll see is people will weld all this up, and this car never had a piece of metal around the back window. The special coupe was all wood around the back window, and the vinyl covered it. But a lot of people will just weld it all up, and they'll take a rear window section out of a sedan. And believe it or not, that's what was in this car when I bought it. It had a sedan rear window section screwed up there in place. But what I'm going to try to do with the car, my plan is, and I'll go ahead and say I may not be able to pull this off. I may end up making a solid top and welding it all up and painting it, but I don't really want to. What I want to do is I want to put the vinyl top back on it the way it originally was, all the way to the belt line, because you just don't see people doing that. Everybody does away with it, and I think if I paint the car black and the top is black, it's all going to blend in well. It'll have a full vinyl top, and then I'll have to make this trim because that piece is not available. I'll have to make that, and it was missing. They're always missing off the special coupes. So that's my plan. I want to put the special coupe back as a special coupe again with the full vinyl top the way they came from the factory. Now some people have said it's a sport coupe because these pieces were off in my videos. So people kept saying, why are you calling it a special coupe? That's a sport coupe. Well, a sport coupe had a full vinyl top all the way to here with no quarter glass. Now there were some other variations in body styles that Ford did offer, like an opera window or something in the sport coupe style top. But the sport coupe almost looked like a convertible, but the top just wouldn't let down. The sport coupe did not have the standard coupe quarter glasses. The only cars with a full vinyl top was the special coupe. The full vinyl top and the quarter glass was the special coupe. I'm going to do a full vinyl top if I can, and I'm going to do it with about 3 inches or so took out of it. I'm going to go ahead and chop it before I put that vinyl top back on. So I'm happy with the way that it looks back here in the back. I have just about exhausted all of my energy. I am done. I am spent. I am tired. I got a lot of editing to do. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks to all the new subscribers. The channel's really growing. I appreciate it. I hope my voice is stronger next week in the next video. I hope to have a little more energy so I can do a little more work on the car. I do appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.